Hello everyone, welcome to my first video. And as the title suggests, I recently had a mental breakdown and I decided to make a YouTube channel. Time will tell if that was a good idea or not, but I want my first video to be about the breakdown that I had, how I plan on rebuilding, and the steps that I'm taking to still achieve my goals. Because I think January is a weird time for a lot of people. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the statistics say that most people don't stick to their resolutions through the end of the month. Most people give up their resolutions by the second Friday, and we don't want to do that this year. So I'm hoping that this video will resonate with some of you that deal with mental health struggles, as well as just generally trying to improve yourself. And I also kind of wanted to make this channel not just to hold myself accountable, but to also help and give back to other people. So before I get started on what my goals are, I want to discuss what kind of triggered my mental breakdown to begin with. And this is completely unscripted. So if I'm kind of all over the place, that's why. But I just kind of wanted this to be really raw, really real, and kind of just like friends talking. So a couple of days ago, I found out that my grandfather was back in the hospital, that he hasn't been doing well, and he has been recently talking about how he might not be with us for much longer. My grandfather's turning 84 this Saturday, and I cherish that man. I absolutely love him. Losing him would be like losing a parent. We're very close. And so I know that his health has been up and down, and usually I handle that pretty well, but this time around it just felt more serious. It felt worse than usual, and I wasn't prepared. I emotionally fell apart completely. I'm talking like on the phone with my friends, crying because I can't keep it together long enough. Just really like falling apart. Now, full transparency, I also am diagnosed with clinical depression and generalized anxiety disorder. So my brain will take things from 0 to 100 really, really quickly. And that's exactly what happened on Saturday. So the way that my brain works, it's like a leak. So you have a leak in your roof, it's just a little drip. You think that it's no big deal. You can, fix it, things will be fine. But the next thing you know, a thunderstorm comes down and then now your roof is caved in. And that's what my brain was doing. Like my brain was caving in. Like I'm crashing out, like emotionally losing my mind because we're going from, girl, your grandfather's about to die tomorrow to you're worthless, you have no value, you can't stick to your goals, you can't achieve what you want to achieve because you're not responsible, you suck at saving money, no man wants you, you're fat and you're ugly. Like it was really, really bad. And listen, I might be mentally ill, but ugly, I had to reel it in. I knew I was going too far. So I needed to just quiet my mind because I can't be my best self and I can't be strong for my grandfather, who was the whole reason why I was emotional to begin with, if I'm not taking care of my mental health. And it is so easy when you have depression and anxiety to start off with one thing that already has you feeling a certain way to then next thing you know, you're like losing it over a whole bunch of other things that probably have nothing to do with the original thing that you were upset about. But because it's like your brain sees that vulnerability, that, moment where it's like, okay, she's already sad about this. Let's really like mess her up. And that's how I got on Saturday. I just quieted my mind. I got my favorite comfort foods. I put on some, YouTubers that I like to watch, played some Sudoku, played some Sims, just did things to distract myself because usually I can counteract the negative thoughts that come to my mind but that wasn't working. So I just needed to like turn everything off. I canceled all the plans that I had with my friends and just existed, and enjoyed the things that I enjoy. After I kind of just got over myself, I guess, and decided, okay, girl, enough is enough. We're gonna stop self deprecating, we're gonna stop beating ourselves up. I decided that I was gonna make a YouTube channel. Making a YouTube channel is something that I've always wanted to do. And I'm a perfectionist, so I've always felt like, oh, I can't do that until I have the right camera and the right, tech and the right editing software and, until I reach these certain goals and this and the third. But it's like, people make YouTube channels every day, girl. Like, what's stopping you from just making a channel to inspire and help other people, You don't have to have it all together to help others, because if that were the case, like, nobody would do anything for anybody, so you don't have to be like, things don't have to be perfect to do the things that you want to do. And I also reminded myself that healing isn't linear, because that's something that I like really beat myself up on. I have been struggling with these diagnoses for pretty much my entire like adolescent life. I'm 28 now. I think I was first diagnosed when I was 19. So this is something that I have been working on managing, but I have this mindset that, okay, girl, it's been almost 10 years now. Why are we still crashing out? But I had to remind myself, and I tell my friends this when they have these moments, like, healing isn't linear. You could be doing really well for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, and all it takes is that one thing. But we don't have to allow that one thing to ruin all of our progress. We just got to reel it in and look at, okay, what actually triggered me? How did it trigger me? How can I manage this in the future? So what I did, like I said, is I took the time, did all the things that make me comfortable, did all the things that, I enjoy, hobbies that I enjoy, just to distract myself, so that, because I knew in that moment that I wasn't ready to tell myself to just, okay, girl, we got to suck it up now. Like, let's get it together. It wasn't time for that. But the next day it was. The next day I woke up and I was like, okay, we crashed out yesterday. That was bad. That was real bad. But it doesn't mean that everything that we have done so far to heal has been lost. We don't have to throw away the whole year. We don't have to throw away the whole month. We'll just get back on the wagon. So let's talk about how I plan on getting back on track and the things that I will be doing. So I actually want to talk about my top 5 goals for the year, in no particular order, just things that I want to achieve for myself. One of those things is I want to get a dog. I have always loved animals, and I always grew up with dogs. We're always a dog family. My mom, she is allergic to cats. So we've always had dogs. And I feel like I'm in a place now where, I have my own place. I work from home, so I have the time where I can have a dog. And I just feel like I want something to nurture, but I don't want to have kids, Like, I don't want a baby, but like, I want a puppy, you know what I mean? And I also think that it will improve my mental health. I feel like animals just in general are really good for your mental health, and having pets is good for your mental health. It's good for routine and all that good stuff. And so I'm getting a dog this year, guys. Like, I got pet names, I got my Amazon list ready. Like, it's like I'm having a baby. Like, I'm preparing for this dog. So that's like one of my biggest things. Thing is, I want to reframe how I think about my mental illness and not identify with it as much as I used to, or as much as I do currently. There's this one YouTuber. I want to say her name is Charlotte Mantiova. I completely said homegirl's name wrong. It is Charlotte Marabito. Her video will be linked in the pinned comments. It is absolutely chef's kiss. She said that your diagnosis is just that. It's literally just a diagnosis. It is not for you to identify with, it is not for you to like personify or make into who you are. It's not a personality trait, it's not like a characteristic, it doesn't define you. What it does is it allows your medical team, whether that's your doctor, therapist, psychiatrist, whoever, to understand what you are struggling with so that they can give you the right resources. That's all that that is. And I think for me, I it's comfortable to identify with my issues. It's comfortable to say like, "Oh, I'm mentally ill." It's comfortable to feel like, this is just who I am. I just have to cope with it. But it doesn't have to be my story. It doesn't have to be my identity. And I really want to work on reframing my mind and reframing how I view those, how I view my generalized anxiety disorder, how I view my depression, and work on not allowing that to be a safe space for me because it's not. Like, clearly it's not. Because when I am in the throes of my anxiety and depression, I'm saying, really crazy and mean things to myself, So that's my second goal. Third goal, I would like to challenge myself to being alcohol free. I wanted to do it the whole year and I was going strong with dry January, but then I had a slip up last week twice. So, we're most of the year. We're gonna sober most of the year. We're gonna give ourselves grace, but sober most of the year. So we're gonna get back on track with that. I don't necessarily. I'm a social drinker. Like I really only drink when I am like getting dinner with friends or like a happy hour. Um, Last week I drank, and then before that it was like 3 weeks ago at my cousin's like holiday party. So I'm not somebody that drinks like often, but it feels like when I drink a lot and then I feel terrible. I just hate how it makes me feel. I hate how it makes me look. It's just not cute. Like no. Like I will have a cocktail and the next thing you know, I feel like my lymph nodes are swollen. Like it's not fun, So that is why I want to go sober. I feel like it would help with it would really be just good for my health. It's just good for you, Like drink less alcohol, drink more water. You know what I mean? I want to get back into my hobbies and things that I enjoy. So, going back into Pilates, I became a Pilates girly last year. I loved it. Love it more than the gym. Like, I was so consistent with Pilates. The only reason why I paused my membership is because of the holidays and I was traveling and I was super busy. So, it was just hard to get into my classes. But we're getting back into Pilates in the spring. I already have them taking that freeze off at the end of February. Sudoku. I love Sudoku. I used to play Sudoku, well, solve Sudoku puzzles, I should say, a lot when I was younger. And I stopped I just didn't have time. As you get older, you have more responsibilities, you have other things, and I just didn't have time to enjoy Sudoku the way that I used to. So I got back into it. I actually bought like a Sudoku book. Like you can, play like apps and stuff like that. Like I have an app on my iPad, but I went on Amazon and I ordered like a Sudoku book because I wanted to do like an actual pen and paper. And I realized again how much I really enjoy this. Like it's actually fun. And it like really just exercises your brain, exercise those brain cells. So, and then learning languages again. I was doing so well last year with my French practice, with my Japanese practice, and then again, life got busy. I was traveling a lot, completely fell off. So that's another thing that I want to kind of reignite in myself is practicing those languages again, because I feel like they're all going to waste. Like I taught myself how to speak Japanese in high school, and I was fluent at one point, but I feel like, a total beginner now. I'm Haitian, so like my family speaks French. And so it would be good for me to like know French, and I do know French, but not enough to feel confident, you know what I mean? And if I want to travel to those places and go back to Japan and go to Paris in the future, I want to know how to like speak to the locals, you know what I mean? So we'll be getting back into that. And then my last goal is building sustainable habits because for me, my issue is that I can be very all or nothing. Um, I want to do things cold turkey. And I was talking to my bestie about this actually recently when we were talking about, my drinking habits and things like that. And she was like, girl, you just have to face the fact that you're not a cold turkey type of girl. It hasn't worked for you. Certain things I can go cold turkey on, fast food. That's easy, But things like other vices that I have, like shopping, like I have to really make sure that I'm not tempting myself to shop. So, for example, I was a chronic victim of Target. I would go into a Target store telling myself that, oh, I'm just gonna get, some eggs. The next thing you know, I'm walking out with $250 worth of stuff that I wasn't even planning on buying. What did I do? I stopped going into the store. Like I stopped tempting myself. So instead of going into the store to do my shopping, I would do online orders and just do like drive up. That way I wouldn't even be tempted to buy things that I know I didn't need and I'm only getting what I actually need. And that worked. Like it actually worked. Like now I can go into a Target and not feel, tempted to get anything. I can go into a store and not feel like I have to impulse buy. But I had to build up to that and I had to take myself out of the environment that was triggering those actions to begin with. And going back to wanting to be sober, her and I were talking and she was like, well, maybe you need to not put yourself in those situations where you will be tempted to drink. If you know that you won't be able to stick to just mocktails all night, then maybe you need to just not go until we've built up that confidence in ourselves to say no. Because my issue isn't that people pressure me. It's not that, my friends are like, oh, girl, just have a drink. Like, it's none of that. It's literally just, I just don't even think about it. Like, next thing I know, I'm like, 1 minute, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to have water. Next thing I know, I'm like 3 margaritas in for no reason, So I think not even allowing myself to be tempted is going to help kind of build that strength. But with other habits such as, daily movement, drinking a lot more water, all of those things, I want to build it in a way that is sustainable. So instead of telling myself, okay, we're going to go to the gym 6 times a week, 3 times a week is going to be weight training, 2 times a week is going to be Pilates, 1 time a week you're going to do like 12, 3:30 or whatever. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to start off 1 day a week. You're going to go to the gym, just do 15 minutes. Like that's all you need to do. 15 minutes. And then we're going to build and build and build, because the point is to build the habit and get into the habit of going to the gym regularly, getting into the habit of moving my body regularly. That way, once the habit is built, then we can add on to it and I'm not as overwhelmed with all the things that I'm trying to achieve. So that's what I have for you. This video resonated with you. Like, subscribe. If you're feeling real generous, leave a comment, do all the things that the YouTube girlies tell you to do. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.